Do you have a scar on your left elbow?
Yes.
Do you know how you got that scar?
When I fell off a bike.
How old were you when that happened?
5 years old, I guess. Maybe 6.
Would you tell us what happened?
My dad was telling me that in order to get the bike, I had to be able to ride it. So he wanted me to go down from where the house was, down the hill and around the cul-de-sac and back up. And so he would put me on the bike, and he would run along with the bike and push the bike down the hill.
What happened when he pushed the bike down the hill into the cul-de-sac?
I just didn't know how to ride the bike very well, and so I couldn't quite get around the curve, so I would just jump off onto the grass. I remember the first time, he told me I had 5 turns this time, 5 tries. So the first time to get around the cul-de-sac, I wasn't able to, and I had to jump off onto the grass.
Did you do this again?
I did it the second time. I jumped off onto the grass, and the third, and the fourth, until it was my last try around the turn.
Did your father react after each time when you would jump off?
Yeah, he was very upset. He was very angry when I would jump off, and then he would come back and say, do not jump off, do not jump off. Even if you fall, try to go around the cul-de-sac. And then the last time, he told me that this was the last time that I had my last try that day.
And what happened?
He pushed me down, and I just said to myself, I'm not going to jump off as I'm going around the turn. And the bike fell because I couldn't ride it well, and I fell down.
And what happened to you?
I cut up my arm really badly.
Were you bleeding?
Yes.
Did they take you for medical treatment?
No.
Did you ever get the cut on your elbow stitched?
No.
How large a scar do you still have there, Mr. Menéndez? Can you show us?
It's still a large scar.
Can you show us with your fingers?
It's like that.
About 2 inches long?
Yeah.
Now, was your mother home when your elbow was cut open?
She was there, watching.
Did she leap from her feet when you fell and run to your side?
No, my dad was very upset that I had actually fallen. He really wanted me to make it around. He told me I could fall, but he was upset that I did.
Was he upset that you were hurt? Was he...
No, he was just upset that I wasn't able to make it around the cul-de-sac.
What do you recall he did, if anything, with the bicycle after you injured your arm?
He threw it in the garage, told me not to touch it.
Was this supposed to be your bicycle? Was it a new bicycle for you?
Yes.
Were you allowed to play with it in between these bike riding lessons?
No.
The purpose of the lesson was what?
I'm not sure. The purpose of the lesson, I assumed, was so that I would learn how to ride the bike, but he wasn't really teaching me how to ride the bike. He just was giving me 5 tries. In order to keep the bike, I had to be able to do this turn.
What do you mean, keep the bike?
In order to be able to have the bike whenever I wanted and to use it, I would have to be able to do this turn.
Do you have any recollection of how long it was after this day that you actually made it around the cul-de-sac and could keep your bike?
No, I think it was a few months.
Do you know if there were more such lessons as the one you've described today?
Yes, when I finally made it around the turn, that's when I was able to keep the bike.
Do you remember finally making it around the turn?
No.